Good evening. We are picking up roughly where we left off last time. I say roughly because off camera I did an incredibly moderate amount of riding. Just a little bit. Got my hands on a few extra red points, just a couple. How many? You'll find out once I find where I put that Moogle shop. But you know, just like a small, reasonable amount of red orbs. Map on select, I know what I'm doing. Which is stalling. Alright, hold on. Hold on, I went that way. How did I miss it? Okay, hold on. I must have just walked right past the door without noticing it. Oh well. Yeah, just a reasonable quantity of points anyway. Let's buy everything forever. I got Santet skin last time that I played, so I actually want 0 cost or 0 point keyblades. These are a little too high level, so I'm not sure how to get 0 costs. Perhaps I'll pick them up over time. Oh, well, there's a zero cost, it's just not the one I was after. There's another zero, but it's gotta be attack cards. Okay, now it's just making fun of me. I will admit, I do enjoy gacha. Because they're like, wow, Sora. Consider getting a life. Yeah, gacha's way better when you have unlimited rolls. That said, if memory serves, I still need to farm cards for opening doors. Oh, I messed that one up. Oh well. My hands are a little bit jittery because I went out shopping earlier. And it's very, very cold. So I'm a little bit shivery. Ooh, rank 9 Sleeping Darkness. Not bad. Pussy Gloves, I had them. It's just very, very cold. This is not a door that I can open. I've actually got fancy gloves with, like, capacitive threads in the fingertips, so I can technically use, like, my devices without having to take them off. But it's not actually very good for whatever reason, so I usually end up taking them off anyway. If it comes up. I didn't do that today because it was very cold. Ah, Jafar. What's this? Has Aladdin given up on his precious Jasmine already? Well, I'm not going to waste a wish on the likes of you three. I'll deal with you myself. Now, like, Jafar might be a villain, but, like, he's smart about this, so I can't hate him. Aladdin, now! What? You? Genie sees him. Oh, forgive me. Okay, so apparently Genie interprets the word "sees" as punch him in the chest so hard that his lungs collapse. Ugh. You fell for it, Jafar. What do you mean? He means that you just blew your second wish, only one left. Go ahead, use it to win Jasmine's heart. You'll still have us to deal with. Oh, now I get it. Al, you were so clever. Well, well, the cunning of a rat. But unfortunately, you can't see beyond the cheese. Your little ploy changes nothing. I can crush you once and for all and make Jasmine my own. Genie, my last wish, transform me into an all-powerful genie. It's so hot. Yeah, I agree. Jafar must be doing this. I wonder if perhaps my Blizzard cards will find value here. memory serves, I need to punch the lamp that Iago's holding, because that's how it was in Kingdom Hearts 1. Yeah, that is hurting him. Okay. I don't like how he's roasting me. I kinda jumped into that one. Oh shoot. I will say, Iago's making it really difficult to actually hit the thing. But the way that the cards work means shattering those boulders looks very cool. I should probably just keep cycling my attack cards and jumping up to hit Iago. Unless Simba can do it. Hard to tell, his health bar is not on screen at the moment. Okay, Simba is actually dealing damage. I might just keep recycling Simba. Iago doesn't need to be nearby if I can hit the entire screen at once. This feels kind of cheesy, but so does carrying his lamp out of way, or out of reach. I think it's kind of cool how, like, true to his wish, Jafar himself is kind of indestructible. Though honestly, going by the wording, I don't feel like he should have actually ended up in the lamp. Because, like, Genie himself demonstrates that, like, a genie isn't inherently bound to a lamp. Like, you can be a genie that doesn't have a master, because that's what Genie is. Wonder what this'll do. This fight really makes you appreciate Mickey cards. I assume it's gonna ground Iago. RIP Clouds. And he's like, okay, Sora, that was the most pathetic display I've ever seen. Try again. Except he'd do it in a higher voice. You're like, wow, Sora. know, I will admit, did not expect to immediately do the boss fight when I started today. Like, it's not a bad thing per se, it's just not what I was expecting. At least the Kingdom Hearts 1 fight, you could actually hit Yaga with magic. If I said the difference between a genie and a djinn would explain this, djinns are genies. Genie is just an anglicization of the word. The actual spelling would be something like D-J-I-N-N-I. And he's dead. Like, technically, the proper term for what Jafar becomes would be something like a Marid, which is a type of djinn. That takes care of that. Yeah, the lore that you're referencing is lore that I've never heard before. Maybe you're better informed than me. I might have to look this up later. That takes care of that. Yep, Jasmine's saved, and we got the lamp back too. Hey, Aladdin, don't you still have one wish left? I mean, if you think about it, we got 9 wishes if we just kind of like pass the lamp around. He sure does. Time for me to make a prince out of this guy. Of course, I'd like to be free, but like they always say, genies can't be choosers. You're probably miffed about that whole Puppet of Jafar thing anyway. Come on now, wish for what's really in your heart. Be a prince. Get the girl. Okay, here goes. I wish for Genie's freedom. But Al, now no one like Jafar can use you for evil again. Genie, you're free. Al, I'll never forget this. But what about Jasmine? What are you gonna do? I was wrong, Genie. If I used your help to win Jasmine, I'd be no better than Jafar. Jasmine means the world to me. I want to show her the real me. That's the spirit. Thanks, Sora, and good luck. What for? I was ready to give up back there, but then you said something to keep me going. That's when it hit me. You must be looking for somebody you care about too. Yeah. Listen, Genie. Say no more, little pal. I know just what you're thinking. Here you go, Sora. Whenever you need me, just call. That okay with you, Al? Of course. Are you sure? Anytime at all. Hey, without you guys, I would never have been able to ditch that lamp. And I think Aladdin will be fine on his own now. Wow, thanks a lot. Let's hope both of our wishes come true then. Take care, Sora. You're with Axel, aren't you? Oh, aren't you clever? The name's Larsen. Or Larxen. Are you enjoying your stay in Castle Oblivion? I bet it's nice to peel all the worthless memories away. And awaken the true memories that lie deep in your heart. True memories. But you're still forgetting something, aren't you, Sora? Yeah, that's the premise. The most important thing. When that poor girl hears you've forgotten her name, she'll be heartbroken. You know her? Is she here? Uh-huh. The bad guys are holding her deep within the castle. And you, the hero, have to go save her. Sadly, there's a catch. I am a bad guy, so you have to go through me. Sora? What's that? Is that mine? You've been wearing it all this time and you forgot? No, you couldn't have. The memory's engraved in your heart. Now think, Sora. What could it be? Who gave it to you? Not me? That's right. Free the memory from your heart. Nami. Namine. Well, it's about time. That's right, Namine. She's the one that gave you the cheesy good luck charm. Not that you remember. No surprise, seeing as you forgot her name. Talk about heartless. It'd serve you right if I smashed this piece of junk. Don't you touch it. Namine gave me this. It's precious to me. Precious? Spare me. 10 seconds ago, you didn't even know what it was. Did I just accidentally dodge lightning by running between the bolts? That's kind of awesome. Hey, she is resistant to lightning. Good to know. How many bones? Nope, none of those. I'm pretty sure the correct way to pronounce that is Namine. You see that Donald's a bit of a wild card because he might heal her. Namine? Namine, that's how I've been pronouncing it, Namine. The accent on the end is the same kind that shows up in French a lot. She just Palpatined me, wow. And then missed a sitting duck. She just like me for real. I kinda wish that I'd had, reasonable opportunity to set up Santetsuken because being like no to a card using enemy has kind of been on my mind the whole time. Like, haha, you don't get to do things. You're not cool enough. Getting juggled against the edge of the screen, not my favorite thing, but I can live with it. You know, it occurs to me that if she keeps doing slights, she's gonna burn her deck for me. Like, I won't have to destroy them with Sentet Skin. Oh, mistakes were made. You know, I just realized, if I use 9 cards, I don't need to use 0 cards for Sentet Skin. Like, in my head, it was like, oh, I'll make an all-0 deck, but like, I don't actually have to do that, do I? Oh, RIP that elixir. Yeah, like, as long as the site itself adds up to 0 or 27, it's fine. Anyway, she's dead. And thunder. I've been wanting one of those. I like lightning. Hey, you're not that bad. Guess you really are a hero. A heartless hero. Who asked you? Does it hurt because it's true? Grow up, Sora. If you're gonna be a baby, then here, play with these. There are more cards made from your memories. Say thank you like a good boy. Ta-ta. Wait, Larxene? Where are you? Don't you dare hide from me. Show yourself. Sora, calm down. She's not coming back. Sora? I hate her. It's not fair that she's the one who made me remember. Namine is too special for that. Yeah, my hypothesis from last stream, I still believe. I think Namine is the girl with the crayons, literally overwriting Sora's memories. Who cares what the bad guys say anyway? Namine, so that's her name. Aren't you glad you finally remembered? Ugh, throwing the battle back there really wore me out. Throwing the battle? Looks like you plain old lost the battle. How dare you? You just don't appreciate the finer nuances of... Axel is right. That was an ungainly performance, Larxene. Vexen. Humbled by someone of such limited significance, you shame yourself and the organization. Grr. Can we help you, Vexen? It's not very often we see you topside. I came to lend a hand. I remain unconvinced of any potential in this hero you've been coddling. Perhaps an experiment would put my doubts to rest. I knew this would happen. Everything's an experiment with you. I'm a scientist. Experimentation is what I do. Whatever, Vexen. Do what you want. But cut the act. Testing Sora is just an excuse to test your little follower. Follower? I'll have you know that he's the product of much research. What he is a toy. Huh. I see that I'm wasting my time. Have your fun, but take this with you. A wild card to keep the game fresh. Handsome of heart agreed. Now don't tell me I don't respect my elders. I dare say I won't. that was Riku. Sora, slow down. We don't have time. We've got Namine. We have to rescue her. Sora sure seems worked up. Can you blame him? After all this time, he finally remembers Namine, only to find out that she's being held prisoner. Good point, Donald. If we heard the king was in danger, we'd be upset too. Come on, Sora, we gotta rescue Namine from the bad guys. Any friend of yours is a friend of ours. Let's go help Namine. And let's see what our options are for worlds. Oh, we can actually just go straight to Hollow Bastion? Alright. I kinda wanna save that one for last, though. And I kinda wanna not do this one. Let's get it out of the way first. What's wrong, little fella? I'm looking for my friends. Are they around here? It looks like nobody's here. So I guess I'm looking for nobody. Huh? You're looking for nobody? Yes, I keep looking, but I'm getting nowhere. All this searching is making me hungry. I wonder if there's a bit of honey around here. But if I start eating, I'll have to stop searching. Why don't we look for your friends together? You mean, look for nobody? No, for your friends. They might be around here. Let's find them together. Are you looking for my friends too? No, but I'm looking for some friends of my own. Are they Pooh's friends? Now just a minute, I'm Pooh, not you. That's right, I'm Sora. My friends are different from your friends. But I know what it's like to miss your friends. So why don't we look for them together? That sounds perfect. Help Pooh find his friends as you lead him to the finish line. R button to call Pooh. The honey displayed at the top right of the screen is the source of Pooh's energy. Pooh will doze off for a while if he runs out of honey. Carrots, cabbages, onions, all my vegetables must be sorted just so. Oh, we found Rabbit. He's right here. Oh, he's literally right here. Now kiss. I like how Rabbit looks genuinely shocked. Guess I'll leave them to it. Okay. I was like, did I just soft lock a Game Boy game? Oh, here's Piglet. Oh, please. I beg of you. Oh, please. I beg of you, move at a pace other than glacial. Like, Pooh, Pooh. You have literally one job. Oh. Oh no, no, I'm nobody. You needn't pay me any mind. You're not Pooh's friend? Let me guess, the twist is that they're all avoiding him because there's a surprise birthday party that they're preparing for. No. Oh, no, I mean, I'm not Pooh's friend. I'm... Why, hello there, Piglet. Oh, it's you, Pooh. I'm so relieved I finally found someone. I got separated from the others. I was so worried I didn't know what to do. That explains why you were so fidgety. Piglet, why don't you come with us to look for the rest of our friends? What? Oh my, I don't know. Huh, what should I do? Guess he doesn't want to come. Let's go, Pooh. Oh, wait. Did you make up your mind? Well, no, I'm still thinking, but I found something strange in the bushes. I wouldn't know what to do with it. You can have it. Knock over Rabbit's trolley with the cart, over the keyblade. I will give it a shot. Sora's face when he's calling is kind of cute. That does not seem to be a thing. Consume the sustenance, Pooh. Pooh, literally what is there to be confused by? Hey, balloons. Yeah, it's definitely a party. Oh, Pooh. Can I go back to bonking Heartless? You know what? You can have the honey. Can I just throw Pooh over my shoulders like a potato sack and like sprint to the end? Oh, there's Tigger. I wonder if I need to get Pooh over here with like a balloon. Oh, Pooh, please stop craving death. Get over here, Pooh. Pooh, please. I presume that I have to grab like one of the large balloon bundles from up here. I will say at least Sora's calling sprite is really cute. Particularly like the face and mouth. Wait, weren't there balloons up here? Where'd the balloons up here go? Does him resting restore his energy too? If it does, I don't want to interrupt him. Like, am I missing something here, or is this just what... Is this... Ooh, please. Ooh, please. Ooh, what if I call you from, like, up here? Can I give Tigger a concussion? Surely I'm missing something. Maybe read the sign? Okay, I'm actually gonna look up a guide on how to do this because I am immediately and completely lost. I don't want to spend more time here. Oh, I have to take him all the way back to where Rabbit was, because you do get Rabbit. Oh no. Okay, so I do actually have to get him onto one of these stumps. Somehow. Okay, so apparently the balloons are for finding Owl, who I just completely missed. Oh. Roo is in one of these holes that I thought were death for Pooh. It's probably this one with the footsteps. Alright, back to the start. Well, if it isn't you, Roo, what were you doing in that hole? I was so busy looking for Tigger that I fell right in. Then why didn't you jump right out again? I was waiting for Tigger to come along. Then when Tigger fell in the hole, why there I'd be. He'd be so surprised. Doesn't it sound fun? But what if he doesn't fall in? I think Tigger would bounce right over the hole. To tell the truth, I was getting a little lonely and tired of waiting for him to fall in. Instead of waiting, why don't you see if you can find him? You're right, that's a great idea. By the way, I found this in the hole. Why don't you take it? Ooh, elixir. Okay, to be fair, if these were like actual sapient creatures, I would be far more patient with them. but they are in fact jank entities in a video game. Henceforth, I shall not be sparing their feelings. Are you alright, Pooh? I had a wonderful time, Owl. I could do that all day. Maybe you should use a balloon to look for your friends. You might think so, young man, but the problems start when you find them. Once you find your friends, how do you get down to them? A balloon goes where the wind blows, you've no control over where you go. What if you saw your friends, but the wind kept them just out of reach? I think I'd rather keep looking for my friends than find them and not be able to reach them. You got a point. If you want to find somebody, you'd best do it on foot. It can be quite exciting to stumble across a friend where you least expect them. Well, that's certainly how I feel when I stumble across some honey. And that's the spirit, Pooh. The trick is to keep moving and keep looking. Alright, Owl, that's what I'll do. I can't wait to find that honey. Don't worry, I'll help Pooh find his friends. Splendid, here's something to speed you on your way. Spellbinder? Oh, no. Wasn't Spellbinder like one of the better Keyblades in Kingdom Hearts 1? Or am I thinking of a different one? Like, isn't that the one that you get for, like, showing Merlin that you've mastered every spell? It's been a minute. So what you do is you call Pooh over to the wagon full of cabbage. And Pooh should just get onto the wagon, apparently. You say wrong wagon, but there's only one wagon. Like, quote, start by calling Pooh over to the wagon full of cabbage that Rabbit is using. When Sora gets on the wagon with Pooh, it will break and Rabbit will notice. And this is the wagon full of cabbage. Or maybe they mean the wagon not full of cabbage, who knows? I can get in this one, so it lends credence to that. Alright. I guess this guide is just wrong. Oh well, Pooh, please. I am genuinely baffled at what I am doing wrong. Do I just stay in the wagon? gonna try and find another walkthrough. Oh, just keep walking, the flag will trigger on its own? Okay. Yeah, apparently there's a beehive along the way, and I bonked that with the Keyblade, and that's how I get Eeyore. I'm just looking for the beehive along the way. Maybe the order is random? Oh, there's the Eeyore. There's his tail. There's the beehive. Apparently these are the diamonds that you used to coax Ticker. Yeah, apparently Rabbit shows up later. Alright. You know, if leaving this world would clear it, I would be very tempted to do so. It's like, I don't know what the rewards are, but they can't be worth it. This BGM is going to be the soundtrack to my nightmares, henceforth. Ooh, you know what? Fine, have it. Oh, see, now he can move fast. That was cathartic. Oh, my poor head. Well, much obliged, Pooh. Much obliged to you too, Eeyore, but what for? We're running into that tree and getting my tail back for me. Thank you for the hydration. Why, I was just trying to get away from those honeybees. All I wanted was a tiny taste of honey. Oh, is that so? Well, you helped me anyhow. I thought there was honey in that tree too. I never would have guessed we'd find your tail. Oh, just an accident. Of course, no one would help me on purpose. But I'm still obliged. Thank you, Pooh and Sora. You're welcome, Eeyore. Here's something for you. Hey, it's okay, Eeyore. It was just an accident. I know, but this fell down along with my tail. It's my accidental thank you. Okay, so these are the stumps that I want. What I do is I coax Pooh to jump from them. To jump from stump to stump counterclockwise. So, you feel like some bouncing with Tigger, eh? Did you see me jump? Sora showed me how. You got the idea, kiddo, but you're still not doing it right. What do you mean? Just imitating Tigger's no good, no matter how much you like my bouncing. You gotta try all kinds of bouncing, make up your own style. I'm Tigger and you're you, that's why it's fun. We wanted you to notice, that's why Pooh was imitating you. Now I see. If you want to see Tigger bounce, just say the word. Here I go. How am I doing? Nobody bounces better. But don't just do what I do. You gotta bounce your own way if you want to be a bouncer like Tigger. Why, look, Sora. Tigger dropped something. And apparently I just drag Pooh to the end, and that should be Rabbit. There we go. That was close. Are you okay, Pooh? Yes, I seem to be. Where did all those cabbages come from? Yo-ho! Hello, Rabbit. What's all the fuss? Did you see my cabbages come rolling past? You mean those cabbages? My goodness, there they are, all nicely stacked. How kind of you. Carrying them is so troublesome I thought I'd try rolling them. But it didn't work very well. So that's why those cabbages came chasing after us. It gave us quite a turn. We almost got bowled over, you know. I'm very sorry. I was going to carry them in my cart, but someone broke it. It's quite annoying. I wonder who it was. Well, Rabbit, Sora and I. Whoa, Pooh, we better get going. We're in a hurry, right? Yes, I suppose you're right. Goodbye, Rabbit. Just a moment. I must repay you for stacking my cabbages. Thank you very much. I don't know how I would have managed without you. Haha, you would have managed better without us. Now, what do you mean by that? Nothing. You know what? Works. It just works. I guess we can't go any further. So what do you think, Pooh? Wasn't it more fun looking for friends together? Yes, you were right, Sora. I'd like you to have this with my thanks. Ugh, we've walked so far, I think I need a little rest. If only I had a nice pot of honey to keep me company. Well, I'd better be going. Where are you going? I gotta keep looking for my friends. Then I'd better help you look for them too. It's okay, Pooh. You should stay here in the 100-acre woods. Please don't follow me. You mean this is goodbye? No way, I'll always know where to find you. And you'll never know where to find me. If I don't forget. Don't worry, Sora, you can count on me. Even if you forget Pooh, I won't forget you. Thanks, Pooh. You're... Riku? What are you doing here? Don't sound so happy to see me, Sora. Let me know if I'm getting in the way of something more important. No, of course not. I only meant... Spare me. I bet you'd all but forgotten about me. Are you crazy? I came all this way because I was looking for you. But not anymore, right? Now it's Namine this, Namine that. You don't care about me any more than you care about how Namine feels. What's that supposed to mean? Never even give it a thought, did you? Just because you want to see Namine doesn't mean that it goes both ways. Oh shoot, the ad's about to start. Snooze. Okay, break. 5-minute break. Please refill beverage, go to the bathroom. Anything that would take you about 5 minutes. Yeah. I returned. Very funny. Who's joking? Namine doesn't even want to look at you. Why not? Ask your memories, if you bother to remember why Namine left the islands. Why? Did I do something? Is it my fault? I would have been like 5 at the time. Riku? Go home, Sora. I can take care of Namine. Anyone who goes near her goes through me. What's your problem? We finally find each other and you do this? Since one of you cared about me, Namine's not the only one who's sick of you. Riku, no. Riku, yes. You know, I was like, I'll get to the next world, I'll build a deck that can use Zantetsuken. And then they're like, hey, what if we threw a bunch of Cardies and bosses at you in a row? Also, yes, violence. Excellent. Like, it's not even a case of like, oh, I thought world intermissions were safe. I thought that, like, in the intervening world, I'd literally get anything accomplished. Oh, I thought I used Donald. Oh well. SMH, I should have just gone straight to Hollow Bastion. I also do kind of want to put that Thunder in my deck, so maybe in place of Fire. Oh, there goes my slide. Did we just get a bunch of cards back without actually finishing his reload? Oh, Mr. Kenji, welcome. You come across me as I'm playing a card game. Not the world's most competent performance, but I'm doing my best. Not to doubt the intelligence of like a 12-year-old, but like, I wonder if Riku ever like looks at his outfit in the mirror and goes, "Hold on a second, am I the bad guy?" I've kind of got this like Venom from Spider-Man look going on. You say it's edgy, not evil, but like his Keyblade's got an eyeball on it like Soul Edge. Like the main villain's probably watching us through it. I should probably heal myself. Agent Venom is a proper hero, or popular hero. I don't think I've ever seen any media with Agent Venom in it. I presume the notion is that, like, the symbiote actually listened to reason at some point. Like, hey, we'll get along with you if you just, like, obey a few rules of society, like the rest of us. Arrow, nice. Oh, I'm not really struggling with health, so I guess more CP. Okay, bye, Riku. Riku, come on, wait. We'd better go after Riku. Gorge, what could have happened to make Riku talk like that? Riku, where are you? Sora, are you okay? Forget about me, what's happened to Riku? He sure was acting strange. It's almost as if the Heartless were controlling him again. No way. Ansem got to him once, but Ansem is history. We saw to that. I wonder what's wrong with him then. Hold on, isn't the king supposed to be with Riku? If something's happened to Riku, then the king might be in danger. We gotta help him. That or that Riku's like a fake apparition like everything else in here. Yeah. Sora? Hey, Riku's still your friend, and that's no mistake. You sure? I know he said some awful things to you back there. But don't forget, we're in Castle Oblivion. People lose their memory here a little bit at a time. Riku's probably forgotten that he and you were friends, that's all. So it's not that he doesn't like me, he just forgot? That'd be my guess. So instead of being sad, let's figure out a way to make Riku remember. It's not like you to mope. Let's work together and get through this. Jiminy's right. Don't push your friends away. Yeah, okay. No. That's not what the Keyblade Master should sound like. Huh? Okay, how's this then? I'll save Namine, Riku, and the king, and I'll do it all blindfolded. That's it, that's the spirit. Heartless, huh? Forces of evil, do your worst. Good, now you're sounding heroic. Boy, he sure knows how to get carried away. Yep, that's our Sora. Trying to get too carried away, Sora. Feel like anything's missing there? Yeah, like I say, Namine is like replacing Kairi with herself. It sure is nice to have the happy Sora back. Now the question on my mind is, why was Sora ever friends with Riku in the first place? Like, Riku has been nothing but antagonistic from day one. Now where are we? The floor is kind of unsteady. I can hear the ocean, too. I know, we must be inside of a ship. Well, we better find a way out, but which way do we go? Ah! Who are you? Maybe she's trying to help us. Looks like you're right. Ooh, treasure. I'm on board with this. Pun unintended. Sadness. I keep forgetting to put, under in my deck. Ooh, treasure. Or not, false bounty. That's probably what this is. The reason I'm using the symbols one at a time, I don't want to waste them. If I use them one at a time, I can reload them. Oh, it's these guys. Didn't I just get eaters? Yeah, but I haven't put them in my I haven't put them in my deck yet. Like, I haven't actually done any real deck building since last stream. All I did was grind Google points for a long time. Guarded Trove? They seem to be giving me a fair number of troves, which I appreciate. Speaking of Moogle points, let's spend some. Oh, there's a zero key. Ooh, this one's got a fancy belt. I would like to be able to do Zentat skin at at least once or twice the next time I encounter a boss fight. I've gotten a decent number of copies of Thunder, which is nice. Not actually sure what Arrow does. Blow away enemies and inflict damage, so it's kind of like Kingdom Hearts 1 Arrow. I've seen bosses use a few of these golden things. Okay, so that's just a full restore. Awesome. I wonder if maybe it would have been better to, grind lower rank, Kingdom Keys in an earlier world. Like, I'm not sure if that's how that works or not. That said, I should probably fiddle with my deck a little bit. Despite needing 3 different keys with 9, I don't think they need to be different. I think they just need to add up to 0. Or 27. Like... Where's my list of slights? Hold on. Slights, rather. Yeah, it's just any 3 with a total value of 0 or 27. I want to make a deck that is just purely for trolling bosses. Okay, so I've only got 6 zeros. But I can reload it a bunch of times. And I can probably add a bunch of 9s as well on top of that. Yeah, this seems about right. Wonder how long I can make a name. Okay, so this is a deck that's all about, not letting the opponent do anything. Thank you for the rotation. And perhaps I can optimize this deck a little bit more. I do like the Simbas, they put in work. Like, they're really good for catching out enemies that are trying very hard not to be hit. I think I'll just add some Thunder cards. Another thing that I might do off camera is just optimize my decks a little bit more. I don't want to spend too long in menus, if I can help it. Thank you for the hydration. I need 3 or higher. Thank you for the hit packs. Well, alright then, pardon me. Or not. Oh hey, key to rewards. Yeah, given how Thunder works, I'm kind of hoping that spamming it will work out for me. On account of the whole not really needing to aim thing. I kinda messed it up that time because I wanted to reload first, but... surely you see the vision. Oh, another guarded trove, nice. I'm just gonna keep putting points into CP until I unlock another... ooh, teleport. Nothing personnel, kid. Okay, it's specifically for Peter Pan. Air Guardy Arrow is... probably very difficult to use, but potentially very fun. Where was I? Thank you. I'm trying to save like the big slides for once more enemies spawn.
Freeze! Thunder! Thunder! Here!
Oh, Moko Room 0. Nice.
Ha! Huh! Huh!
Foaming Fiera. Nice, nice. Having my spells actually lock onto enemies would be really nice, actually. How do I do that? Okay, arrow, fire, and then anything else. Interesting. Also, I wonder if I'm meant to take that key to rewards back to, like, earlier worlds. So I'm pretty sure that that's an option. Because there were a bunch of rooms along the way that I just couldn't get into. Take one to earlier worlds, the key to rewards cards. The one that looks kind of like a gold bar. Ooh, fire it. Nice something put on Sonic Light. Whoops. Technically, I messed up doing a Sonic Blade the first time, so I'm kind of even sad at it. I should also probably consider healing myself the next time I get into a fight. Or above, and this one's got a thing over it, so story. I just had the thought that if this is a story thing, I probably should have preemptively equipped my anti-boss deck, just in case. Is it just me, or are all the rooms starting to look the same? Maybe we're just going in circles. Some help she was. I think you might have ruffled her feathers, Donald. Tink, what are you doing? You were supposed to bring the pirates with you. Stay back, pirates, or this will be the last fight you pick. Don't be so rude, we're not pirates, we're only here because... why are we here, Sora? How am I supposed to know, Donald? Goofy, what do you think? Gorsh, beats me. Okay, I get the picture. Sora, Donald, and Goofy, right? I guess pirates wouldn't get lost on their own ship, and you're dressed funny. There you go again. Wait, so if you thought that we were pirates, this must be a pirate ship. That's right, you're trapped inside the notorious Captain Hook's vessel. Well, if we're trapped, that means you are too. Me? Don't be silly. No one can capture Peter Pan. Peter Pan's also a bit cross-eyed. I'm just lying low until it's time to make my move. What was that? The pirates kidnapped my friend Wendy. She's gotta be somewhere on this ship. I didn't expect there to be so many watchmen, though. I sent Tink to look for a way around, but all she found was you. I bet I know what Tink had in mind. If we all make a big enough racket, we can distract the pirates. Gorsh, you must have read her mind. So how about it? Let's work together, at least until we get above deck. Well, why not? Of course, I could save Wendy myself if I wanted to. But you guys look like you'd be stuck without me. Don't you have any manners? It's like, oh boy, Moogle capitalism, let's go. I'm just imagining, like, opening these cards up in front of the Moogle's face, and if it's not a 0 or a 9, I just kind of, like, drop them on the ground. Like, this isn't any good. Moogle just, like, sheds a single tear. Okay, I'm appreciating the number of 0 cards that I'm getting now. I wouldn't. I'm not actually that rude. Yeah, the more high potions and high elixirs I can find, the more high potions and elixirs I can find, the better. Because that's more Xantexicans. Speaking of, there's a couple. This is turning into a pack opening stream. Alright, let's add those to this deck. You know, if I were to play a gacha game, I probably would just do that. And I'm actually kind of low on CP. I can squeeze in. Whoops. I can squeeze in 3 more 0s, and... two more high potions. This is fine. Now I just need to find an enemy that actually uses cards.
Heal! Heal! Thunder! Thunder!
You say every enemy uses cards, but like, I don't see a deck in the bottom right.
Power!
I kind of assumed that rather than being like reloadable cards, these are just like abstractions of what the enemies are doing.
Fire! Power!
Ooh, premium room, that sounds like fun. Tornado.
Take that! This is it! Here!
I wonder if I should just make
Power!
another deck where the entire point is to spam magic. And then like the attack one is for killing bosses and the magic one is for wiping rooms.
Fire!
False bounty.
Thunder! 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 Take that! This is it! Here! Take that! This is it!
They are giving me a lot of false bounties. Just sad, I want real bounties.
Take that!
Like, it's not okay when pirates steal treasure, but it is okay if you steal stolen treasure from pirates.
Here! Peter Pan! Take that! Take that! This is it!
Like, what are you gonna do? Look for receipts and return it? No, you're not.
Here! Here!
Guarded Trove. I got Key to Guidance, not that thing. Oh, another Thunder. Not complaining.
Take that! Heal!
I was just thinking I had to heal.
Heal!
get lightninged.
Thunder! Thunder!
Yeah, I probably want to put a few more thunders in my deck so I can do the big thunder more than once.
Freeze!
Without needing to reload, I mean.
Fire! Power!
I will say, I've definitely gotten more comfortable with burning my cards now that I've got more actual good ones.
Ha! Ha! Huh! Take that!
Like early on I was like, oh no, I don't want to burn my stuff, then I'll have none left.
Peter Pan! Take that!
I just realized Peter Pan's voice actor sounds a bit like Philip J. Fry in that line.
Power! Power!
Like this straight up just sounded like Fry.
Fire! Heal! Heal!
Oh, they're summoners.
Fire! Power! Here!
Another guarded trope.
Ha! Ha! Take that!
Now, of note, I haven't actually seen all that much Futurama.
This is it!
I was never allowed to watch it as a kid, and I never went out of my way to watch it as an adult.
Power! Power! Fire! Freeze! Thunder! Thunder! Thunder!
Oh, another premium row. And this one's a 0. Let's see.
Ha! Huh! Ha! Take that!
It's probably not gonna happen tonight, but I really actually want to get into a fight with somebody who I can send test skin.
Here! Power!
I just think it'd be very funny.
Power! Fire!
Another guarded trove. Nice.
Ha! Huh! Huh!
I do have a Room of Rewards card. Let's see what's in here. We have Thunder Raid. Thunder Attack Attack. Interesting. I do like lightning. Let's find out what that looks like. Take lots of damage, one target.
Here. Power. Power. Fire. Heal. Heal. Freeze.
You're giving me a lot of Moogle cards, I will say. My health is kind of starting to lag behind damage, but not enough to make me not greedy. Let's turn this Moogle shop into a Moogle shop. Delicious. My excitement is now purely tied to how many 0 cards I get. Very good indeed. Lots of genies and arrows I've been noticing. Like, maybe it's just confirmation bias, but I wonder if they've got like a higher drop rate here. Or something to that effect. Actually, it occurs to me, I've seen bosses using ethers a couple of times. Wouldn't that counter my Sentet skin? Then again, I suppose that just means I simply need to Sentet skin them more. If overwhelming violence doesn't work, you simply aren't using enough of it. Okay, I'm gonna try and, first, I'm going to go in here and add in the extra 0 attack cards. I am well over the limit now. I'll just throw everything in and see what I can ditch. It's kind of interesting that the 9 value card is a bit cheaper than the 0 card. Add the card that it prevents my attacks from being broken. I do not have that card, so regrettably I cannot add it. Let's get rid of the 9 values. And I don't need the elixirs as much, since I'm not using magic. Oh wait, no, I do have it in there. Silly me. High potion's probably worth more than a couple of couple of zero costs, so if I take that out, we're back below again. Awesome. This is fine. What could possibly go wrong? And I kind of want to make a magic spamming deck. Like, the idea here would basically be— wait, can cards only be in one deck at a time? That's kind of dumb. Elixir doesn't burn, restore burned cards. Oh, I thought it did. As, the wording is... it's like potion is load available, and then high potion, which does restore burn things, is all. And elixir just says all. So I'm pretty sure actually it does restore burn cards. Can cards only be in one deck at a time? Why can't I... oh, yes they can. What the heck? Weird. I could have sworn I went in here earlier and none of these were available. Bring an opponent's enemy card. Yeah, I think I'll just do Thunder and have like some fire and some ice in there for backup, just in case they're like immune to thunder. This is fine. And I'll name this one Red. Need at least one attack card. Alright. Oh, thank you for the rotation. Which one should I put in? I want to make it a zero cost attack. Yeah, let's do Kingdom Key. Perfect. Alright. Let's see how good that is at room clearing. Oh, thank you for the hydration.
Thunder! Thunder!
Pretty good, I appreciate it. Have a good rest of stream. Stream's over. Like, that's the end of it. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it each and every time. Next scheduled stream is going to be on Wednesday. It's going to be Majora's Mask. The next time I'm playing this game in particular is going to be on Friday. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful night, and I hope to see you again. I'll actually properly end this once, You know, the elixir brings everything back.
Thunder.
Once I get out of this fight. Right, yes. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful night. I hope to see you again. Good night.